So let's talk about what's happening in sports, specifically with Tiger Woods and the Masters, because the Masters, well, begin this week. And notably, we've been talking about how this tournament is not going to have Tiger Woods. We know that for a fact.
Yeah, well, this week after the golfer was arrested on charges of driving while under the influence, and we have a lot to talk about. So here to help us out is legal expert Wendy Patrick. Wendy, good morning. And you know what's really interesting is we have so much golf here in San Diego. So when you talk about golf, it actually, I thought about it and I was like, well, we haven't had Tiger here in San Diego for many, many years. So is this a big deal that we don't see him in the Masters, and are people making it a bigger deal? I kind of looked at it and I go, well, we got a really good lineup without him.
You know, I think it's a big deal in what it represents to have such a famous, beloved public figure in the news and in the news cycle for all the wrong reasons. That has been one of the things. We talked about the same dynamic when Britney Spears was arrested, remember, last month. But Tiger Woods is a role model. I mean, he is the game of golf to many young people coming up through the ranks who have grown up following him and everything he did. So when he is having these personal issues that are endangering the public, that's what's important about the latest arrest. That is a big deal, and so his absence will be felt. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's some people thinking, you know, now they have a chance at maybe getting a better standing.
Especially the Masters.
Especially at the Masters. And you know, he's going to be missed, but at the same time, he's really sort of drawing the focus from, you know, here are some collateral consequences that fame may cause, particularly with somebody like Tiger, who refuses to get a driver out of privacy concerns. That's a big problem.
Yeah, we touched on that just a little bit too, like right after, why doesn't he have a driver? And a lot of analysts are saying, well, you know, he is a very private person and he perhaps likes that time by himself, regardless of what he might be doing. But in this, I mean, this has happened before. I think that's why so many people continue to zero in on Tiger Woods. Bring us up to speed, though, on what he was charged with. And we know he refused a test, right? So where do things stand with his case?
You're absolutely right. So he was charged with DUI with property damage, and he was also charged with refusing a urinalysis test. He blew a 0, okay, so he had no alcohol in his system. But with respect to the drugs, that could have been something that a urinalysis test would have revealed. Without that, it's possible he'll plead to some kind of a lesser charge. But most importantly, for somebody like Tiger, this is his 4th strike. He has been involved in 4 separate accidents over the last several years. One of them was another DUI where he did take a urinalysis test and found drugs in his system. Drugs. So one of the things that his case really represents is, where do we draw the line in terms of treatment and prevention? We want to make sure this never happens again, not just to Tiger, but to anybody that's taking any kind of pain medication, for example. So much has been made about the judge's decision to allow him to travel abroad to enter into a treatment facility. So before we all say, oh, celebrity justice, he gets a break, remember that it's not so much about privilege, but privacy in terms of getting somebody the help that they need. Step 1 is the willingness, and Tiger at the very least has that. So between now and his next court date, he's going to be getting some much needed treatment. I think everybody agrees on that. And then we'll see how, if at all, that factors into what a judge decides to do in terms of sentencing if he pleads guilty.
Right, which could mean jail time for Tiger Woods, depending on what happens. I mean, it's unlikely, but I think that this opens up a really big myriad of situations that happen when you talk about DUI. A lot of people just think, they look at the Justin Timberlake situation and they go, oh, he was drinking and driving. There's so much more to it. And I mean, I think about being a parent, and he's, you know, Tiger Woods has this son who's following in his footsteps. What's going on there? You know, like, what are you taking? Why are you behind the wheel when you're taking something? What is that substance that's leading you in that direction? It's really sad, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really sad, and that is what a lot of his friends and family members are saying. You've heard them say everything from, you're 50 years old, start acting like it, you're a parent, be a good role model, to, I think it's time for you to get the help that you need.
Right.
Tiger wouldn't disagree with any of that. So then the question is, why was he behind the wheel again in the same circumstance that led to an accident before?
Wendy, have you seen and heard the body cam video?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we just played it. Maybe we can play it. So this is newer video that has come to light, the body camera videos of those officers when they stopped him. At one point, we hear Tiger say something about, I just got off the phone with the president. Right. What do you make of that? And do you think along those lines that being a celebrity helps him or hurts him?
I think in a case like Tiger's, being a celebrity does both. I'll tell you why. He's not just a socialite. He is an enormously talented golfer that has had an illustrious career. He has so many followers. He's a role model to so many people, including, like you said, his own kids. And so in one sense, everyone is rooting for his recovery because he represents something that's happened to many sports figures over the years. They get injured, they're prescribed medication, they become addicted, they make poor choices, they have compromised judgment. Everyone wants him to succeed, but at the same time, we don't want him endangering everyone else. So in that sense, I do think there needs to be a sanction. There needs to be something more than, you know, you're going to go to Switzerland and get treatment. And I think the judge is going to agree that this can't just be another, oh, well, hopefully he'll get help. There has to be that component of deterrence. Remember, punishment is not just about rehabilitation, although it is. It's also about deterrence, preventing future crime, and making sure the Justice Department works for everyone, not just celebrities. We're not going to throw the book at him necessarily, but not treat him differently to where his celebrity is an advantage.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so challenging for a judge to weigh what do we do with somebody like Tiger.
Well, and to have the glass half full in this situation, you hope that if someone's going through a similar situation with themselves, then that can also put them in a place of going, you know what? Maybe I should look towards help or whatever that might be. And I just hope that in this situation, Tiger gets the help that he needs.
Amen. So. Get a driver or stay home.